What's up, everyone? GFO here, and I know we said we were going to do this a day or so ago, but we've been just swamped. It's been crazy. So in keeping with the subtropical storm we have out in the Atlantic right now, or actually coming in through the Gulf, we had said we were going to do a video on hurricane preparedness, and we're going to try to keep this real short and sweet, and kind of run through a list and give you guys some ideas while we're doing it. I've got this checklist that I'm using from the hurricanesafety.org, and it's just a basic thing to have. It keeps you from avoiding the rush, because as soon as they mention the word hurricane on the news or on the Weather Channel, what does everyone do? They run to Walmart. Walmart ends up looking like a ghost town. They blow out the food, the canned goods section, the camping section. I mean, you name it, you think of it, it's blown out in Walmart that could pertain to hurricane supplies. But this is some stuff to do before the hurricane hits, so that you're already ready and you're good to go. Mind you, you should keep in mind when you're making this list how many people are in your family, how many people are going to be with you, so you can have enough for everyone. First key essential, water. They recommend 1 gallon of water per person per day. Okay, so if you're doing that, there's multiple ways to do it. You can get the little disposable bottles, but say you're sitting there for a couple days and water runs out. And you guys may not be able to see this, but we have a bunch of stuff off camera to talk about. These are the Sawyer mini water filters. Basically, you can use these to process anything but salt water. Salt water does not work. Do not drink salt water. You will go crazy. Literally go crazy. So you can take these things, stick these in a mud puddle with the little provided straw that goes on the end. You can stick that in a mud puddle and get water out of it. So good thing to have in case of some type of emergency like that. So you want to have water. That's one of the key things. Let's see, food, that's the other thing. And I know a lot of people don't like this, but Spam, Vienna sausage, potted meat, tuna fish, all that stuff is not going to go bad. Because think about it, if the hurricane hits, and I hear this all the time, hey, you know, hurricane's going to hit, I'm going to go grab bread, milk, eggs, and water. Well, 2 of those things, if we lose power, are going to go bad rather quick. Your milk and your eggs. So instead of grabbing milk and eggs, kind of forego that and get something that's like a canned good. Now, for cooking that food, there's several ways you can do it. We do stuff ahead of time and seal it down in vacuum seals, beef jerky, granola. We even do family size meals, which is a dehydrated meal. All this is cooked and then dehydrated, and all we basically have to do to reconstitute this is boil water. And once you boil water, you can rehydrate all this. Now, you may be saying, okay, we just had a hurricane, I can't boil water, I don't have any power. There are ways, probably stuff you haven't even thought of. If you have a barbecue grill, boom, there you go. You can cook on that. If not, there's other simple ways like sterno stoves, or these things. It's this real small miniature camping stove. You can find these at Walmart. Give this joker a little turn. You'll start hearing the gas. Hit it. Dial it back down afterwards. And you can cook water or boil water in, what did we say? 4 minutes. This will boil water. Add it to your dehydrated meal. Let it reconstitute for about 10 minutes and you're good to go. So with that, I mean, with our stuff, we have little mess kits. which is, this is basically a pot and a plate and a little bowl. You can use that. The metal cups. If you have to have coffee in the morning like some of us do, or some type of energy thing. Forks, spoons, and knives. Little stuff like that is going to be what keeps you fed and not irritable. Also, the other thing for older people, or even some younger people, you may have medicines. Remember to get together your medicine before the hurricane hits so you don't forget it. You know, it could be a blood pressure medicine that's highly important, diabetics, some type of insulin or insulin pills or shots. You know, have that stuff together in a place where you know to grab it so you can grab it and go. Back with the foods and stuff, also remember, if you have a young child at home still on a formula or something, make sure you have a supply of that as well so you're not running out. And have that something that you can mix with water, not milk, so that way, you know, in an emergency, you know, you're not relying just on that milk. The other good thing to have, and we always carry, first aid kit. Now, this is a basic one that we have. We do have a larger one. This one will cover cuts, scrapes, sprains, lacerations. I mean, we can handle some pretty good, decent cuts with this kit. We have splints in here for broken fingers. And one of these days I'm going to break this bag down and do a better video on it. But a first aid kit is always important to have in a situation like this. You got to think there's going to be broken windows, trees down, so that's cuts, splinters, you know, all kinds of situations that you can get into. Let's see what else. And on this, and if you really want, if you go onto this list on hurricanesafety.org, they actually have a breakdown of what you should have in your first aid kit. Non-prescription drugs, aspirin or some type of pain reliever, anti-diarrhea medicine, antacid for upset stomach, a laxative, and activated charcoal, which is good if, you know, you come across, you accidentally ingest some type of polluted water or something like that that has some kind of toxin or chemical in it. Now, the anti-diarrhea and anti-acid medicine for upset stomach, I'm going to probably go ahead and say are two of the most important, because some people, when they get upset or nervous, that's a legitimate reaction. So having those could be life-saving, because if you get into a situation like that where you need the anti-diarrhea medicine, you're also, if you're in that situation, you're going to be losing a lot of water. Water is important to stay hydrated. You're going to be doing a lot of physical work after the hurricane passes. You're going to need that water and that hydration to keep going. This covers tools and supplies, mess kits like we already covered, that we have, an emergency preparedness manual, battery operated radios and extra batteries. Now, you can go about this several ways. You can get an actual radio. I prefer what we have, and these are these little radios that we use for our scanners. I am posting this on the scanner page, so most of y'all know that we have these. And this one is kind of cool because it covers police, fire, EMS, sheriff's department, and I've added a couple extra channels to mine, and mine covers radio or NOA weather as well. And if you press this little top button on the side, that'll actually get you FM radio, and you can hear what's going on with FM radio as well. Now, there are several different kind of radios that you can get the weather channel and stuff on. We have these, which are your basic scanners. You can't use these to communicate out at all. They're only to receive. Now, with what we do with search and rescue, we have ones that are capable to send as well. And they have the nice little handy microphones like the law enforcement uses. But these also have weather channel and everything else on them as well, that we can receive that. And they have ham operator channels on here that we can get in touch with ham operators, and, you know, just various agencies that will help with recovery. If you don't need to go that fancy and you just want to go to Walmart, you can get these Cobras to communicate with your family. They're something basic. They probably average 2 to 3 miles. These also have weather channels and alerts on them as well. So that's going to help out and keep you updated on to what's going on during the storm. Some of the other things, let's see what else they have on here. Extra batteries for flashlights. That's something you might want to really look into. Either that or they have rechargeable flashlights now, and there are multiple ways to charge that, and also chargers for your phone, which I'm going to touch on real quick. We have several different ways to charge our devices. We have your standard Anchor backup battery, which comes in handy, and you can use that. It also has a flashlight on there. I'm not going to shine at the camera because I'll blind y'all. But that thing is extremely bright, and this will charge each one of our cell phones at least once or twice. So there are multiple ways you can do that. The other way we use to charge things is solar panels. And you can get these pretty cheap off of places like Wish or Amazon, Geek, whatever you like to use. And they'll probably run about $30 to $40 per unit. Make sure you get at least a 20-something watt if you're going to be charging multiple devices. That way it'll keep up with everything. Another thing you're going to need if the power goes out is flashlights. We picked these up really cheap at Ollie's. They're extremely bright. I think they were like, what, $6 or $7?
Yeah.
I mean, so these are, and if you'll notice, a lot of this stuff that we have for our hurricane supply also doubles as our camping gear. So if you're into camping, a lot of your camping gear will also be your survival gear. Trying to think what else we have here. And let's see what else to touch on. They talk about non-electric can opener or utility knife. I always carry a pocket knife, so that'll work. You can get what they call a military P35 or P38 can opener. Really small, really flat, really tiny, that just can go inside your bag, and it only takes up about that much space, and it's literally as thin as this piece of sheet of metal. So, you know, if you're worried about a lot of space. They say a fire extinguisher, small canister. Personally, maybe yes, maybe no. It just kind of depends. I wouldn't bring the grill inside the house, so that'll lead to a lot of like carbon monoxide buildup and stuff like that, and could kill you. So as long as you're doing most of that stuff outside the house, no open flames inside the house, you really shouldn't need the fire extinguisher too much. It says a tube tent, but we're talking hurricane. Maybe after the hurricane's gone, yes. I wouldn't try to use the tent during the hurricane. That could be very bad, and we could find you a long ways away. Pliers, tape, compass. Compass is always good, but there are other options. I do not rely on my phone because my phone, you know, towers could be down, but my satellites won't be down, so I have a handheld GPS that I use to navigate if I have to. Also have maps of your local area, know your evacuation routes. They're everywhere down here on the coast. Florida, Georgia, North Carolina, South Carolina, they all have evacuation routes that are planned out, and you can look those up and for your specific area, and it'll tell you where to go to follow. Be advised though, if you do not leave early, they will be extremely packed, so you know it's going to be slow going. Yes, make sure your vehicles are gassed up and ready to go before an event like this. Matches in a waterproof container, or you can use something like this, which are stormproof matches. These things can get wet. Once they get wet, you shake them and they reignite once you shake the water off. Signal flares. These things, real small, real handy. I put them in the vacuum seal bag, vacuum seal them down so they stay waterproof, and we don't have to worry about it. They say pencil, paper, needle, thread, medicine dropper, shut-off wrench to turn off household gas and water, a whistle, plastic sheeting, which you can put up over your windows with duct tape to keep debris from flying in, and map of the local area, which I had already touched on. Sanitation, and I know I put some down here. Y'all that haven't been in the military won't realize the significance of this, but those of us that have been in the military will know the power of a wet wipe. These have been my only shower for months at a time before. So, I mean, you really don't smell a whole lot great, but it gets most of the funk off, which is something that is a plus in a situation like this where you don't have running water, showers, and stuff like that. So, wet wipes are a lifesaver. Liquid soap and liquid detergent for you females, feminine supplies, personal hygiene items, garbage bags and ties for personal sanitation use, plastic bucket with a tight lid for use of a toilet in case of an emergency, disinfectant, household chlorine bleach. Now that household chlorine bleach can also be used to purify water, but I don't recommend it unless you absolutely know what you're doing. Stick with a water purifier or the water purification tablets. Clothing and bedding. They recommend sturdy shoes and work boots, rain gear, blankets or sleeping bags, hat, good pair of gloves, which are always important. You know, you want to keep your hands cut free and keep them from getting tore up, because once your hands get tore up, you're going to be in a lot of a bigger situation than you were originally. Thermal underwear and sunglasses. Most of the time, hurricanes happen and it's hot outside, so you probably really won't need the thermal underwear. They're covering, again, some of the stuff we already touched on: formula, diapers, bottles, powdered milk, and medications for babies. Adults, heart and blood pressure medicine, insulin, prescription drugs, denture needs, contact lenses and supplies, extra eyeglasses. Trying to think what else. Okay, this is something that they don't usually cover, but I cover. If you are a nicotine user, you're going to be in a high stress situation. Take that into consideration. For you guys that dip, get an extra log. If you smoke packs of cigarettes, get a couple extra packs. The vape, whatever you do, you know, make sure you have some extra with you. Trying to think what else I haven't touched on. Hey, this one was also important to me because I love animals. Don't forget your pets. You know, if the area is going to flood, don't ditch your pet. Take your pet with you. Make sure you have ID on them. I mean, unless you absolutely don't care about your animal, and that's personal opinion, you probably shouldn't have it anyway if you don't care about it. To us, a pet is like part of the family. So if we go somewhere, the pet's going to go too. So transport your pet with you. And that's all I'm going to touch on that one. Possessions and documents. This is always important. Wills, insurance policies, contracts, deeds, stocks, bonds, passports, social security cards, immunization records, bank account information, credit card account numbers and companies, inventory valuable household items and important telephone numbers, family records, birth, marriage, and death certificates. And to keep all this stuff, you can get boxes like these. These are watertight seal boxes. They have that nice little rubber gasket on the inside so nothing's getting wet. If you don't want to go that fancy and you have a lot more that you need, go to your local Army Navy surplus store and grab an old ammo can. Seal it up inside of that, throw in some of those gel silica packets, and you should be fine and good to go. Also remember, as we're getting toward the end of this, if you keep water storage, rotate the stuff out every few months. You know, buy a pack, use the old pack, and replace it with a new one. It's real simple. If you can't remember what's what, just write a date on them that you purchased it with a Sharpie, and you're good to go. Also, once you build this kit, remember to replace batteries occasionally, because batteries can explode. They can drain over time. All kinds of stuff like that. A couple things that they didn't touch on in here that I take with me when I go. You're coming back, you may have a lot of brush, trees down in your way. Something like a small saw, hand saw, machete, something like that. That's going to be important to regaining entry to your home. Rope, 550 cord, something. You may need something to tie something down. And this is a personal thing. I'm not saying you have to have this. I'm not saying you should have this. But me personally, after a situation like this, there could be looters. There could be people trying to gain entry into your home. So for my personal protection and for my family's personal protection, part of my hurricane disaster is a firearm. You know, I carry a firearm with me every day. If you see me out, there's a good chance that I have this on me, unless I'm at my job, which doesn't allow me to. But like I said, that is a personal thing. It's not something you have to have. But, you know, the safety of your family, I feel I should carry one. So that's all I'm going to touch on that. A couple things to do before the hurricane to get ready that I haven't touched on yet. Before the hurricane comes, loose stuff in your yard, lawn chairs, patio furniture, stuff like that, trampolines. If you can, either get it secured or get it taken down, because if we can get all that stuff put away, it creates a lot less mess to clean up once we get back. All that stuff isn't destroyed. You don't have to go out and purchase new ones. So if you can, you know, kind of get that stuff put away, pick up all stuff that could turn into foreign missile or missiles that the wind could pick up and launch. That way, you know, when you do get home, you have less of a mess to clean up, and pretty much all you're cleaning up then is trees, branches, and, you know, Mother Nature, basically. But we hope this helps. Any further questions? I'm pretty sure we covered everything I know we covered everything that they cover on here. You know, you may want to take a couple extra tools with you when you leave, so when you come home, you have some extra stuff. You know, if you do have a chainsaw, hey, take it, because, you know, you may come home to a branch across your driveway or a branch right up the street from your house that, you know, you have to get the tree. And, you know, emergency services may not be able to get to you right away. So, you know, you kind of got to look out for yourself and look out for your neighbors and look out for each other, which is what we try to do in case of a hurricane. We'll go out and we'll volunteer and we'll spend our day out there helping people clean up their yards, helping older folks that can't get out and do it for themselves, someone that's disabled, a disabled veteran or something like that. We'll go help them. But like I said, if you have any other questions, comments, concerns, drop them down in the comments below. And God bless America, and we hope this helped y'all out some. Thanks for watching.